actually tracking for years was Erika. Not Charlie, but Erika was the one being tracked by these planes between 2022 and September of 2025. Both of those aircrafts, SU-BTT, the yellow plane, and SU-BND, the blue plane, showed 68 overlaps with Erika's documented locations, okay? 68 overlaps. I have since been able to add now 73 times that this overlapped. Okay.
What really grabbed everyone's attention wasn't just the incident itself. It was the footage afterward. Something about Micky immediately felt off. In the video circulating online, his behavior doesn't match the chaos around him. While people are ducking, panicking, or rushing to help, Micky stays unnervingly calm. He doesn't flinch. He doesn't react. Instead, he quietly lifts his phone to his ear. No dialing, no hesitation, like he was already expecting that call. That single moment set off a firestorm of questions. Add to that a wife who looks exhausted from keeping secrets, and Erika who appears desperate to stop leaks. Strange timing, odd trips just before the shooting, and murky connections people online are now digging into. By the end, it's easy to see why many are asking whether this was chaos or something far more calculated.
But in this particular video, he's not standing where you can get a view of Charlie asking a question. So this part is not tracking. Okay, Micky is not standing to the side of Charlie, he is behind. And so if you're saying what earlier, we're supposed to see him, the best place to stand if you're going to get a video of Charlie asking a question is going to be in a place where you can see both Charlie and the person asking the question. And that's just not where he's standing. So that excuse doesn't make sense to me. Now, maybe he's saying Micky was there when he was throwing hats out and he was there trying to send videos thereafter once things got started. That's all possible. I don't know. Regarding him putting his hands up to his ear, it does sound completely plausible to me that if you first hear a gunshot, you're going to naturally do this, right? That kind of makes sense. You're going to go, what was that maybe? And then I think typically you'd get down. And the issue that I have is I never see him take that phone down. Maybe he does, right? Maybe he does. We don't know for a fact. And so we should be clear that it doesn't look to me like he's just covering his ears there, but maybe he is. What I will say is that it would be unlikely that you would keep holding your ears until you get all the way out and that you wouldn't duck down.
Then Erika poured gasoline on an already raging fire. In a national TV interview, she tried to explain the moments after the shooting, but her own words only raised more questions. She claimed her phone was on silent, so she didn't hear anything at first. But when she finally checked it, there was a call for Micky. According to her, that call came just seconds after Charlie was shot. For a lot of people watching, that detail didn't bring clarity, it brought suspicion. Combined with the footage of Micky calmly lifting his phone at the scene, the timing felt eerie. Too fast, too precise. And that's when online conversations shifted from shock to serious doubt.
And that's when Micky started calling me. He called me within seconds.
I called Erika. I just remember it rang like 3 or 4 times. I didn't know what to say. Those are the words that will change someone's life forever, and you have to be the one to say it. That was the first time I've ever called her during a campus tour stop.
And so Micky called me, and I'll never forget him just being like, Charlie's been shot. He's been shot, get the kids. Get security, get the kids, he's been shot. I sprinted out of her treatment center, just collapsed in the middle of the parking lot. Called our security. Yeah. Unbelievable nightmare.
So according to Erika, Micky called her within seconds. If you might remember, that Micky McCoy has been under a lot of fire for how he reacted less than 1 second after Charlie was shot. He put his phone or his hands to his ears, looks like his phone, and began walking away. People were highly suspicious of this, and we were told by Turning Point USA, executive producer of The Charlie Kirk Show, Andrew Colvette, that Micky did not make a phone call here. He, in fact, put his hands up over his ears because the shot was very loud. Remember this.
Last thing, because this is part of the video allegations here, is that they think they're alleging that he was on the phone immediately. He was not. He was taking social videos, which he would send to our group chat, which we would then put on Charlie's social while the event was happening, so you could see like the crowd come in or his interactions. And we were only 2 questions into this event, so he was still getting it out to all the chats he needed to do, which he did at every event. He turns around, and it was so blaringly loud, I'm told. You would know this better than I, but this is what I'm told. It was so blaringly loud, and he was so shell-shocked. He put his fingers in his ear, but his phone was still in his hand. He walks away.
Blake Neff, who's also on this Charlie Kirk show from Turning Point USA, who was right next to Micky McCoy when the shot rang out, also explained that Micky McCoy and him separated. It was not until they reconvened after the fact, when he encountered Micky with his lip quivering, that the phone call was then made to Erika and then to his father, Rob McCoy. Candace Owens came out straight up yesterday and said that this was an inside job. People are suspicious because of inconsistencies and lies.
So the question everyone keeps asking is simple: who's lying? Because both versions of this story can exist at the same time. The solution would be easy. Micky could clear everything up in minutes by releasing his call logs. 1 screenshot, 1 timestamp, 5 minutes of effort. But that's never happened. No proof, no records, not a single timestamp to back up either claim. And that silence is what really unsettles people. In situations like this, transparency usually shuts rumors down fast. Here, it's doing the opposite, feeding speculation and making the entire situation feel even more off than before.
I don't like the silence from Turning Point employees. I know for a fact one of them, who I'm not going to name, has a text message from Charlie the day before he died saying they are going to kill me.
Wow.
Now, he was not referring to lobby when he wrote that message.
Yeah.
If you are his friend and you're interested in the truth, why wouldn't you tell the public that? Wouldn't you just come right out to the public and say, hey, I don't know what happened, but like Charlie thought they were going to kill him. I do not like the way Turning Point is behaving. I've made that clear. And nobody is going to emotionally manipulate me and tell me that it's all good now. And to attack Turning Point would be to attack his legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie told me years ago that he had, which I shared the messages, he was having a ton of visions and was telling me that Turning Point was going to be the death of him. He knew he was going to die young, and strangely knew that I was going to be the only person to defend him, right? I showed the messages.
Yeah.
I showed the messages.
They tried to say it was fake and you pulled it up and yeah.
We're here now, and I'm going to defend him. I'm going to figure out what happened.
But there's another detail that made people start scrutinizing everything even harder. Candace Owens pointed out that just weeks before Charlie died, the McCoys took their very first family vacation with Charlie and Erika. Micky's wife even posted about it, calling it their first trip together. During that vacation, the McCoys filmed intimate, private moments of the Kirk family, footage that later went viral after Charlie's death, including the clip of Erika holding Charlie's hand while walking with their kids. That alone raised eyebrows. Most family trips don't look like that. Usually a family member holds the camera, not another couple quietly documenting moments like a behind-the-scenes film crew. Then it gets even stranger. Just 4 days before Charlie died, Micky suddenly filmed him again during a Korea trip, admitting it was the first time he'd ever done that. To a lot of people watching, the timing didn't feel sentimental. It felt unsettling.
Yeah, so originally we were supposed to go to the DMZ portion where Trump shook Kim Jong-un's hand. And I'm going to put him on blast, but the United Nations canceled Charlie. Didn't allow us to go.
Wow.
So we were scheduled to go. So we had to go to that lookout point, which was really exciting still. So glad we got that.
Yeah, you got to see it.
Something else that's really interesting is when we were at that Build Up Korea event, Charlie was meeting with all these pastors backstage. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And there's Pastor Son, S-O-N. And Charlie was talking to him. He was talking about politics from the pulpit, which you can't do during an election season in Korea, but he was doing it anyways. And Charlie's like, let me take a picture with you. So he took the picture, and we left Korea. 2 days after we left Korea, the pastor was arrested and is in jail right now for...
No way.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Because
Yes,
you can't...
It's
We have the picture up there. That was 2 days after they arrested that pastor. He's in jail right now for talking about politics from the pulpit.
But while Eliza McCoy seemingly vanished from the public eye, Turning Point USA did the complete opposite. They went into overdrive. Suddenly, Micky McCoy was everywhere. Podcasts, interviews, public appearances, speeches, his name and face were pushed nonstop. For a lot of people watching, the contrast felt jarring. One half of the story went completely silent, while the other was amplified at full volume. Instead of distancing themselves or letting things settle, the organization doubled down, putting Micky front and center at every opportunity. And that aggressive visibility didn't calm suspicions. It intensified them, making people wonder why the spotlight was being forced so hard, so fast, and so consistently.
He was promised or told or encouraged that he would become the new Charlie, and it is a fact that that was the #1 sentiment that we received from our Turning Point USA insiders following Charlie's assassination, that the supercalifragilistic Micky McCoy appeared to have like an extra spring in his step that made them all a little bit uncomfortable in the aftermath, and that he seemed all too happy to assume Charlie's position. Look, he's already speaking at Liberty University. Why? Because he made some phone calls? That's have we lowered the standards for what makes somebody a hero? And
every post, every clip, every press release framed Micky as a rising prodigy, a young legend carried by tragedy. But to many people watching, it didn't feel like grief at all. It felt strategic, like an attempt to smother a growing fire under layers of praise before questions could spiral further. And then Turning Point USA slipped. In one video, someone is seen consoling Micky, telling him not to worry about conspiracy theories, assuring him that everything had already been handled and that he should ignore the noise. That moment hit differently. Instead of organic comfort, it sounded rehearsed, as if the narrative was already locked in, managed, and protected. For skeptics, that wasn't reassurance. It was a red flag.
Erika Kirk, where has she been? She's been out of the spotlight almost completely. No interviews, no real public presence, nothing. And at this point, people are wondering why. Is it the attention? Is it pressure? Or is something else going on behind the scenes? Now, let's talk about this moment right here between Micky McCoy and someone named Bernadette. Because when I heard that clip, my thought was the same as a lot of you. Who exactly is Bernadette? And why does she sound like she's speaking for the team?
I don't want you to feel hurt by all these horrible things. We know that you have a responsibility. You're a young man. And I just want you to take a deep breath, like I said, and you know what? Let them spin their conspiracy theories. You're a good kid. You had instructions to call Erika. Charlie had a team that jumped right in there. I know that team. And we just got to move on. We got to push them moving on, and let's get to these midterms.
Yeah. Bernadette, who are you? And Micky, let's slow this down for a second. You had instructions to call Erika Kirk right away. And based on the footage that we've all seen over and over and over again, that's exactly what you did. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. Now here's the part I really want people to pay attention to.
That's right. Thank you, Bernadette. It's crazy. It's just,
Lost for words there, huh, Micky? That little stutter, that pause, that moment where the sentence never really finishes. That's the kind of thing that makes people stop and replay the clip. Not because it proves anything, but because it raises more questions. So now we're left with this. Erika Kirk is out of sight. Bernadette is telling Micky to ignore conspiracy theories and just move on. Micky confirms he had instructions to call Erika and then freezes up right after thanking her.
Here's what really keeps people uneasy. When someone is falsely accused of something this serious, they don't stay quiet. They push back. They show receipts. They threaten lawsuits. They demand retractions. But none of that happened here. No legal action. No public corrections. Just calculated silence paired with a non-stop stream of Micky is amazing content. To critics, that didn't look like confidence, it looked like control. And then Candace Owens went even further, openly stating she believes Turning Point USA played a role in what happened. Now she's laying it all out, connecting dots and calling them out publicly. And that's when this stopped feeling like rumor and started feeling like a reckoning.
Turning Point USA executives to issue a very clean statement saying that I am lying if this is not true. About 48 hours before Charlie Kirk died, Charlie informed people at Turning Point, as well as Jewish donors and a rabbi, that he had no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause outright, okay? Charlie was done. He said it explicitly, that he refused to be bullied anymore by the Jewish donors. Can you guys answer? Did he express that? Did he also express that he wanted to bring me, Candace Owens, back because he was standing up for himself? And then did he, just 48 hours later, conveniently catch a bullet to the throat before our onstage reunion could happen? It's a yes or a no. Explicitly, I want to hear from Turning Point USA that I'm lying about that. I want you to say no, it was just, he was feeling a little bit of pressure. No, I want you to literally answer what I have just said. It either happened or it didn't. I'm either making it all up or it happened exactly as I'm saying. And while we're at it, may I ask, what is the name of the Jewish donor who sponsored the Hamptons weekend? Okay. And to Pastor Rob McCoy, were there any LLCs that you or your son were being paid through that sat outside of Turning Point? I'm asking that question genuinely. Yeah, I'm putting the fire here right at the feet of Turning Point because I am disgusted. I am genuinely disgusted. I am looking around and wondering whether Charlie's entire life was the Truman Show. None of you guys are behaving in the way that you should be behaving, okay? There is no way you are letting these lies fly unless, as I am hearing, unless it is true that there was a big payday that was on the line. And if Charlie radically stated that he was done with Israel, if Charlie said he had no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause because of, and I quote, Jewish donors, the behavior of Jewish donors, if he said that, yes or no, well then, I don't know, maybe some people didn't want to take that risk that he was going to, become Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson at Turning Point USA with so much presence across college campuses. Maybe they didn't want to take the chance. You see, I'm just one person, so it's easy to just try to cancel my life and lie on me every second of every day. But Turning Point USA, I think, got a little bit bigger than Charlie, and I'm no longer going to allow this lie in this narrative. So answer the questions, yes or no. And I'm going to, again, challenge you to lie. And if you do lie, I'm going to expose the lies, and I'm going to start dropping videos, actually. So that's where I'm at. Enough of the games, enough with trying to allow Israel to wrangle a narrative that you know.
And that's the pattern people can't ignore. Deny when questions first surface, distract when the pressure builds, then disappear when things get uncomfortable. That cycle is exactly what people recognize when something is being buried instead of addressed. It's not loud defenses or clear explanations. It's silence wrapped in carefully managed messaging. To a lot of observers, that behavior doesn't signal innocence or confidence. It signals damage control. And once people start spotting that pattern, every quiet move, every polished post, and every unanswered question only reinforces the belief that there's more going on behind the scenes than anyone is willing to admit.
I view the Charlie Kirk assassination as a military hit. I do not know who called the hit yet, but it's military. There's no question in my mind that it was a military hit. Well, I don't view the U.S. military as being controlled by the U.S. I mean, there are a lot of people, we've been globalized for a very long time. I don't know that there's decisions that are made in Ukraine for America. I mean, this is the tentacles of the U.S. military. It's a much broader and longer conversation that needs to be had. I mean, I think since JFK was assassinated, I don't know who's in control of anything, right? Much of what we see in the political realm is just an illusion. We're talking about what's happening in Congress, and decisions are made in boardrooms, in my view. With Charlie, I think that with everything that I have uncovered, there was very clearly a faith infiltration that happened. And I'm putting faith in quotation marks because Charlie would have believed the people that came to him and told him to grow the organization and, to become the boots on the ground for faith. He cared very deeply about his faith. And the characters, the cast of characters and the pastors that are around him, rotten, like very rotten. The McCoy's, Rob McCoy, unbelievably rotten, and I've been covering a lot with him.
And then there's Erika online, which only deepened the unease. People say she's working overtime to keep Mikey's wife from saying anything more, as if the one person who drifted off script now has to be completely silenced. What really made it feel calculated is something Candace Owens pointed out. Every time someone at Turning Point USA mentions Micky McCoy, they attach an adjective, every single time. The amazing Micky McCoy. The heroic Micky McCoy. The brilliant Micky McCoy. Not once, not casually, but relentlessly. And people keep asking the same question. If the truth stands on its own, why does it need to be dressed up like that every time?
It is obvious to me that Micky McCoy was the person that they wanted to launch as the new Charlie. That's very obvious. The way they brought his YouTube channel back with a speech from Micky, and everyone was kind of trying to soft sell Micky to us and was like, who's this kid? You're 23. Why are you the chief of staff of anything? Who are you actually? And you're brought in by Rob, your dad, who is dirty. I mean, very dirty guy. I covered more of that yesterday. He just gives me the sleaze and the ick. And it just is very strange. I felt like they tried to manipulate us into accepting this, almost like they had like, Mikey's going to be this person. Then we see Micky, he's a hero, and he just walks away right after somebody, like, that doesn't make any sense to me. And yeah, you know, with Erika, a lot of people on the internet have been going into her past, going into her parents' past, and, you know, just speaking about these things.
Israel defense contractors, parents, stuff like that.
Yeah, I've seen all of that. I respond to that on my show. And what I've said to everybody is I'm starting with what happened on that day, what happened leading up to his assassination, and the people that catch my attention are people who are telling verifiable lies.